Thank you. Poor. Roseville. It was like that in between. Welcome in to the Pennant Grace. Happy Friday. It is Father's Day weekend, and we are presented by Roback at checkout. PG20 can get you 20% off. Ush, what are you doing for Father's Day weekend, and are you celebrating with Roback?
I'm going to be celebrating with Roback. Of course I am. That's the only way to celebrate Father's Day, but not just for dads. That's for everybody.
It is.
For all guys, whether you're a dad or not, and even for the ladies.
Of course, I always say if you need a cute outfit to wear to the golf course, you're just lounging around, you're in the medical field, and you want a nice set to wear, really anything you need, Roback has got it. And of course, the pickleball. We were going to play last night, actually.
We were. Pickleball game did happen.
It did happen?
In my driveway. You just weren't a part of it.
No, I was invited, though.
Neither was I. I was in
Okay.
bed. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, is the water back on?
Water's back on.
Good.
Yeah. Having some problems. I got a lot of problems. So I like the Atlanta Braves so much. That's why we're doing a show today. The Braves won a
Yes.
game, so it's such a monumental event now when the Braves win a game that we do a show.
It is, and we're actually going to start working on a more set schedule for the Pennant Grace. So let us know what days and times really work for you guys. We want to make sure that this is accessible for anyone that's wanting to tune in, and we will give you guys more of a set schedule so you know when to come hang out with us.
Yeah, so we'll have more info on that, and make sure you stay tuned into the episode. We're going to have the best giveaway we've had so far.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
really
excited
about
to announce this. It has something to do with 4th of July. That's all we're going to tell you. But the reason that we're here, the Braves have finally won, and it feels kind of crazy that we are even discussing this, the monumental moment of the Braves coming away with a victory after a 5-game losing streak, the longest they've had since 2017-ish.
Yeah, and we knew that Baltimore's a very good team. This is a different feel to it when versus playing the Nationals. For instance, you're losing's losing. You don't want to lose, but you're losing to a good team.
Yeah.
You brought this up. It was interesting and especially rewarding. Obviously, it's good just to win. But the fact that you had the lead, you lost the lead, and you regained the lead.
Right.
That, to me, because as soon as Baltimore came back in the late innings against the bullpen, I believe that was Pierce Johnson was in the game. Ronaldo Lopez, by the way.
Excellent.
Another phenomenal start. There's no sign of any kind of slump for him. When they came back in, it was just that the confidence we talked about last episode, no matter what was going on, no matter how late in the deficit that our team could come back and win, has now been anytime the other team starts to get close, if you do have a lead,
it feels like it's over.
You feel like you're going to go the other way. And for the Braves to regain that lead and get the win was especially gratifying.
Yeah, I think for me, one thing that stuck out was we actually added to the run score. That's huge because, and again, we've talked about it, and I don't want to beat a dead horse when I say this, but it has felt like any sort of deficit, even if we're ahead by 1 or 2 runs, it just feels like it's over, especially when the other team gets this much momentum. So for the Orioles to get some momentum and then we actually respond well, that was huge. However, the base runners, we have got to bring the base runners in. Hopefully this is a trend in the right direction. We come home to Atlanta this weekend, Tampa Bay Rays, Father's Day weekend. But I think it was a great way to end a rather rough road trip. Yeah,
it was, and it felt vintage Braves to like you said, score those late inning runs. It felt vintage Braves to score in the first inning. That was a hallmark of the team that we have not seen this season. 2 of the guys that I called out on our last episode, Matt Olson and Michael Harris II, both with big hits in that win. Now you've got a Tampa Bay team coming to town, so you've got the Rays and then the Tigers at home. You get a day off next Thursday, and then you got a road trip where you're going to Yankee Stadium, you're going to St. Louis, and then you have that one White Sox game that was a makeup game.
Right.
So you have all those before you return home for Pittsburgh and San Francisco, and then the Phillies, and then you hit the road again. So, again, about to hit a stretch after Thursday where you're going to have a longer stretch without days off.
Yes, and we said this against Nationals. This will be a great time to make up some games. It appears that this could be a good weekend to gain some back on the Phillies. What is the deficit now with games back? Is it 10?
It is 9.
9,
so
okay.
Still single digits.
Single digits, we'll take it.
We can live with that.
We can.
So the Braves are at 36-30, the Phillies at 46-22, putting them 9 back. There's still only 3 teams with a better record in the National League than Atlanta, and those are the division leaders.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and, of course, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
When we got to talk to Todd Furman today on the next round, I was helping host this week with Tampa Bay Rays fan Jim Dunaway, and I was able to talk to him more so about the U.S. Open, and Dunaway brought up the question, is there a possibility that the Braves do not make the playoffs entirely? No wild card spot, no division. And it was encouraging to hear from Todd Furman, who is with Bet the Board podcast, that all hope is not lost. We constantly say that. And to hear it from an outside party, that was pretty significant.
Yeah, it really was. And he knows what he's talking about there. So, and I agree with him. And again, I want to just reiterate, I just don't expect to see some big wholesale changes from the Braves as we approach trade deadline. What do you do? Like, what I mean, I do feel like you're going to see a reliever or two, and I do feel like you're going to see an outfield bat. But other than that, I just don't see major moves. I don't see a starter or a frontline starter. Mm-mm. And are you going to, who are you getting rid of?
Well, let me pose this too. Starting pitching has been so good. We're seeing quality starts. I don't think that's an area of need. Now, I don't know. I want to know your opinion on that.
Oh, I agree. It's way down the list of your concerns. I don't want to hear anything about pitching, to be honest with you. Now, could the Braves benefit from some depth in the bullpen? Yes. They have had some key injuries there as well. Should be getting A.J. Minder back soon. But, again, it's not about there's holes in this lineup, in this roster. It's about the guys that are invested in, that are core parts of this franchise that just are not producing. And the unfortunate thing is they're all doing it at the same time. And when I say all, I mean everyone not named Marcell Ozuna.
That's true. And I don't know if, I guess the argument could be you add another hot bat and maybe, that forces everyone else to catch fire. We've talked about just like how basketball is a game of runs, baseball is a game of momentum, and it's about trends and catching on. So Marcell has not lost that at all. He continues to perform to the highest level, and we're starting to see last night things were getting strung together to create some runs, but the leaving base runners stranded is just not going to fly. You can't do that as the schedule heats up, and you can't do it against the Phillies. Yeah,
and it's talking to a friend of the show, Benny Rose, and you and I talked about this extensively about you really can't put Marcell in that 5 spot.
No.
We need to keep him in that 3 spot. I like Harris and Ozzie at 1-2, Marcell at 3.
Yeah. Well, I think it gives the opportunity for good things to happen. We did mention, I mentioned on the show yesterday, the next round, that we saw the error of putting Marcell in the 5th spot when Michael Harris triples and no one can bring him home.
Right.
That's just, it's painful to watch. And I was speaking with Buster Olney about, okay, realistically, what do you do? Right? It's a simple question, but what do you do as a manager in this situation? Because it's not that the talent isn't there. No one is producing.
Yeah.
It's kind of an anomaly. And do you keep a positive mindset? It sounds like that's what's happening.
Yes.
There's still positivity in the clubhouse. This is not changing that. When we spoke to Jake Peavy earlier in May, he said that Braves clubhouse is so incredibly desirable.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was thinking, as we talked about moves the team might make, is there a Jock Peterson type, or as a guy that can come in and for whatever reason just energizes guys, keeps them loose, and gets guys going a little bit? And I don't know who that would be, and I don't know if that person is out there. But, again, nothing going on now as far as the team struggles make me question anything as regarding Alex Anthopoulos.
Agreed.
Make me question anything with Brian Snitker. This is not an organizational problem. This is not a management clubhouse problem. It's just a simple problem with production. You do have 2 teams that are at the bottom of their division coming in. I don't know how much that plays into it. We talked about that last episode. The Braves are struggling against good teams. They're struggling against bad teams. But Tampa and I say Detroit is at the bottom. They're not at the bottom. The White Sox have that covered. Shout out to Scott Forrester, friend of the show. But they almost have identical records. Tampa Bay's at 33 and 36 in that absolutely loaded AL East, and Detroit at 33 and 35 at a right now at this point in the season is a very good AL Central. And so you have teams that really are similar to record-wise as to kind of what you've seen with teams like Washington.
Right. And my hope for the next couple of weeks is that things can catch on. There can be a trend. That's the hope that every Braves fan shares. But I think leaving that road trip with a bright spot, we talk about those bright spots. What can we find that's working out?
Yeah.
And that is the best case scenario for me after that road trip. One thing I want to pose to you, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. And this is just hypothetical, right? We're just chatting. We're talking as, trade season is upon us in Major League Baseball.
We're not dating this. We're just talking.
We're just talking. Okay. So let's talk about Max Fried, right?
Okay.
So he could potentially be a free agent. Well, he will be a free agent.
Yeah, he will.
What would it look like hypothetically, for the Braves to get some more money for him and trade him? Is there a world in which that happens?
Yeah, anything's possible. I think if it was very clear that, one, they're not going to be able to re-sign him, and two, we are really building for next year.
Yeah.
I just don't. I hate it. I love Max Fried. He's one of my all-time favorite Atlanta Braves. I want desperately for them to re-sign him and not let him go into free agency. I don't think that's going to happen as much as I want it to happen. I just feel like it would have already, but I've been surprised before at those type things. Obviously, Anthopoulos has made tremendous deals with the core of the team, and you've seen guys that have come in, done well, and gotten a contract quickly, extension-wise. I love what he did when he brought in Matt Olson and when he brought in Sean Murphy and how they were brought in and immediately added to on the contract side. But I don't see it happening. You'd get a haul for him. I mean, Max has been tremendous.
Exactly.
You know, and there's such a we talked about this last time. There's such a shortage of starting, top line starting pitching depth. And one of the things you brought up is so many things are bunched together with a lot of these teams. We really have a less of a sense of who's going to be sellers because you have so many that are really in that 500 range. And I don't know if they, how many of those teams really know what they're going to be.
Well, there's a lot of teams that are still in contention. And to me, from my perspective, my take on it would be if the Braves do part ways with Max Fried before, this season is over, to me, that would feel like the Braves are throwing in the towel for this year. And like you said, they're going to rebuild for next year. There has been no indication of anything along those lines coming out of the clubhouse, coming out from any sort of media or beat writers. I just simply wanted to pose that question to see what it would look like to reassure our Pennant Grace viewers that it does not feel like the Braves are going to call this season a wash and just start prepping for next season. Again,
keeping the hypothetical, you'd get a haul for him.
You would.
I don't think you'd ever get what he's worth. I mean, it just, again, starting pitching that you can really rely on is in such short supply. I say that in terms of, the offensive side of the game, but, we're into mid-June now, and OPS is drastically down and across Major League Baseball.
Right.
So if you're like me, you get caught in your Braves bubble. It's harder for me to keep up with other teams because baseball season's 162 games. And so whereas like in college football, you're keeping up with a lot of different teams. If you're like me, you're keeping up with the Braves a little bit with your division, lesser with, your league. And then there's a lot of teams that you don't know anything about. A lot of teams struggling offensively right now. So it's not just a Braves problem, although I do believe strongly it is more pronounced with the Braves because you had a team last year that was historic in their offensive output.
I asked Buster Olney about this, if the woes go deeper than the lineup and the offense, and he said at this point it could be. He didn't go into specifics about that, but it is interesting. We have to get out of the bubble, right? We're focusing on the Braves, focusing on what they're doing, but holistically, I mean, I would be interested, and you guys let us know, how many teams do you keep up with regularly in the MLB? I know Reed Taylor, he does. He's one of the only people I know that he kind of has a finger on what everyone else is doing, finger on the pulse of other clubs. But you'd be hard pressed to find an individual that is keeping up with every single team in the MLB right now.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think the ones that are more knowledgeable on an array of teams are going to be fantasy baseball.
That's true. And I'm pretty sure Reed has the Atlanta Braves as his team in one of the leagues, and that is why he's keeping extra close attention on us.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
I know.
Yeah, so it could energize the team. You're going to be at home, and it's Father's Day weekend. There's going to be great crowds. You know that.
Yeah.
You have a team that you have a chance to, to beat. You should be better than this Tampa team. So we'll see. A great homestand would really boost. You'd love to see him carry that momentum from the last game in Baltimore.
For sure. The Braves this weekend, we saw on X today that they are planning on putting something in the outfield, a logo of sorts, a message of sorts.
I do have a guess
Okay, let's
to
hear
that.
it.
I could see, I've always thought that we have a really good, strong, clean logo here at the Pennant Grace.
Oh.
And why not a Pennant Grace logo in that field? You know, could you not see that? Out in that field
man.
with those
That would be excellent.
craftsmen with the mowers, the way that they're able to create. We've seen some really cool field designs in Major League Baseball.
The Pennant Grace would.
But that would take the cake.
No, absolutely. Are you as what's the word I'm looking for? Specific on your lawn care at home?
Yeah, so I'm a lines guy. I'm all about the lines, and so if I go vertical lines, I'll do diagonal this way the next week, and then diagonal this way the following week, and then you go back to the vertical. I like to keep it nice and tight.
This is off topic, but, well, I guess on topic, but not off topic of the show. If you were offered a groundskeeping role for the Atlanta Braves, would you take it? They pay well.
That would be a really cool thing to do. I would imagine that's probably harder work than we realize that it is.
It's a grueling job. I actually worked, the Mart, Atlanta Mart. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Like the fashion, there's home goods, there's a gifting one. And so before I got my job at the Next Round, I did a shift at the Atlanta Mart. And the person that, the company, one of the employees, and he does the Atlanta Mart for this company every year, he actually was an Atlanta Braves groundskeeper.
Oh, wow.
And he I can't remember all the specifics, but he went into, basically when he had kids, he was like, you can't do this job.
Right.
But they are included when the Braves win a World Series or division. They also get bonuses.
Believe they may get rings.
Yeah, they do. Everyone in the infrastructure from literally concessions up gets rings.
I love that.
Oh, so cool. We looked at the Chiefs rings today on the show for the Next Round, and they not copied, but the open ring design is becoming more popular. And I thought back to the Braves 2021 World Series ring. Didn't it have lights that lit up inside of it?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
No, it had something with Truist Park in there. I got to hold Jake Peavy's Giants.
Cool.
We showed us his Red Sox championship. He's got championship rings with the Red Sox and the San Francisco Giants. I got to wear the Giants ring. It was a pretty nice feeling. Those are pretty nice rings. They're pretty heavy.
And he just gave it to you.
He did. I didn't even ask.
No.
He just ring on my
and you
finger
just held
there.
on to it for a
it was
while.
the bell of the ball.
All right. Well, as we were starting to wrap up here at the Pennant Grace, like we said, we're going to have a more set schedule for you guys to tune in. We've been a little sporadic. As we figure things out, again, we're over most milestones of starting out podcasts, so that's exciting for us.
Yes.
We love that. We're over 10 now.
In it for the long haul. Oh,
yes,
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And like we said, we're not contingent on if the Braves are winning or losing.
No,
we're here the whole season.
Yeah, we are. And we're going to keep doing cool things and adding things as we go. And that brings us to this giveaway. So when the Braves, come back home, they're going to be there for the fourth old school rivalry with the San Francisco Giants. I just have great memories of Braves Giants. So the Giants will be in town July 4th. And great friend of the show, Ward Smallwood, just a really great guy, huge Braves fan. And Ward has helped us out on this. We have got this tremendous giveaway. July 4th, Braves and Giants at Truist Park. We have got 2 seats. Section 1, this is a section you know well. Section 109, row 4, seats 13 and 14. Now, that is lower bowl, right field corner. EG, those are great seats.
These are incredible, and we're going to give you guys more details on how to win these tickets on our social media. Of course, you need to follow us anyways, but that is where you'll find out the details. We're teasing it now to get you guys excited, but this is huge.
Yeah. So how can you win these tickets? You need to be following at the Pennant Grace
to find out
on X and Instagram.
Yep.
You need to be subscribing at Disrupt Media on YouTube. That's where all the shows are. You can watch all the other shows. If you want to catch some of the older episodes, they're all archived there. Disrupt Media on YouTube.
We'll give more details on how you can win these. It's June 14th today. It's Flag Day.
Yes.
Happy Flag Day.
Happy Flag Day.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's my brother's 30th birthday today, too. Happy birthday,
I
Hunter.
love it. Yeah. The Braves and Giants, I'm thinking, will be in some type of red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
I think it's, of course, the Braves are red, white, and blue anyway because they're America's team.
Duh.
But I think having some stars around, things like that. And I think this Sunday you'll have the light blue added in on those Father's Day
I love
caps.
that. The Braves and MLB as a whole, I feel like, do really just they produce a strong product on holidays, right?
Yeah.
On Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day. It's just fun. It's America's pastime. What's funny is when I was growing up and we'd sing the national anthem, I always thought it was Home of the Braves. Every time. I thought,
it should be.
Wow, the United States really loves the Atlanta Braves.
Who do we petition to change that?
I don't know. I feel like we could get that in motion.
Yeah.
All that to say, we are happy that you guys are here for another episode of the Pennant Grace. The Braves are trending in the right direction.
Let's go.
It. Coming into a homestand this weekend, maybe you'll catch a game in Atlanta. Let us know if you're there. But this would not be possible without our presenting sponsor, Roback.
Yeah, so again, anything Roback gear, make sure you tag us there so that we can repost that, show you guys out and about in your Roback gear. And, of course, if you're at the games for that Tampa series this weekend, please tag us in that too so that we can share that. There's going to be got a feeling there's going to be some Pennant Grace viewers in attendance this weekend.
I agree. Remember, follow us on social media at the Pennant Grace on X and Instagram. You're going to get details on our new schedule. We might be putting out a poll. Let's do that, actually. Well, after this, we're going to put out a poll seeing what days that you guys want us to have our set shows for the week. And then, of course, we'll still have emergency check-ins like we did when Acuna went down, but that'll still be on the regular. But we want to give you guys an easier way to tune into us. So look for the poll about scheduling-wise, programming notes, and then, of course, we have 2 tickets that we are giving away July 4th in Atlanta against the Giants. Lots of exciting things happening for the Pennant Grace and the Braves.